Hello guys, welcome back to TechDose, and in this video we will see the best strategy to search string in dictionary or corpus. So in this video you will be learning how to do efficient search in corpus, how to build dictionary, and how to serve string search query. So let us look at the problem statement. In this problem you are given a dictionary, that is dictionary of words, and you are given search queries. So you want to verify what all strings are present in the dictionary. So in this case, tech is present in the dictionary, TEM is not present in the dictionary, anime is not present in the dictionary, and any is present in the dictionary in this place. Okay, so whatever words are present you need to return true for them, and whichever words are not present you will return false for them. Okay, so our goal is to return true if query string is found, otherwise return false. So what technique can we apply? Well, the brute force technique is to search a given query word in your entire corpus. If you do this, then the time taken will be very high because you will be comparing, in the worst case, this string with each and every string of your corpus. So the time complexity will be the number of query words, and for each query word you will be traversing this entire string because you will be comparing character by character. And then you will be comparing this string with all these strings in the corpus in the worst case. So the worst case time will be order of number of queries into length of your this query into your corpus size. This corpus size will be number of words in the corpus into the length of word. You can also assume that this will be length of the maximum sized word. Okay, so this is a brute force approach and this is very inefficient. So how do we improve the time complexity? Well, what we can do is we can try using a hash map. Now you cannot directly store this string as a key in hash map. A better way is to convert this into an integer. Now how do you convert this string into an integer? Let us assume that we have a decimal number system and there your number is 3 to 4. Now this 4 is at the least significant digit. Okay, so what is the weightage of this 4? It will be nothing but 10 to the power 0 into 4, which will come out to be 4. Okay, now the weightage of this 2 will be equals to 10 to the power 1 into 2 because this is at tens place. So the weightage will come out to be 20, and the weightage of this 3 will be 10 to the power 2 into 3. So this will come out to be 300. Okay, so this is according to the weightage. This is ones place, this is tens place, and this is hundreds place. And how are we deciding what power to take, that is whether to take 10 here or 11 or 12? Because this is decided by using our alphabet size. In this case, in the decimal number system, you have numbers from 0 to 9. Therefore, your alphabet size will be 10. In the similar way, we can use this technique in order to convert this string into an integer. So in this case, I will assume that we will only be having this lowercase letters. Therefore, the numbers will range from A to Z, and the numbers will be A will be having number 1 and Z will be having number 26. Therefore, our alphabet size will be equals to 26. Now, given a character, how do we find what is the weightage? You can use this formula. You can use S at I minus character A plus 1. So, if your S at I is, let's say, C, then you will be subtracting A from this C and then adding 1 to it. This is as good as if the ASCII value of A is 97, then this will be 99. So 99 minus 97 will be 2, and adding 1 to it will be 3. So the weightage of this C is giving us 3, and in this case as well we have assumed the same weightage. C will be having weightage 3. So this is how we find for a character what will be its integer weightage. Now we will be converting this string into integer. So this is C. Now what will be the power we will be taking? In this case alphabet size is 26, so it will be 26 to the power 0 since this is the least significant digit. Now we will multiply its weightage, it will be 3. Now what is the weightage of this B? The B's weightage will be 26 to the power 1 into the weightage of B, which will be 2. Now this is A, this is at third position, so it will have a weightage of 26 to the power 2 multiplied by weightage of A, which will be 1. Now in order to convert this string into integer, you will have to add these numbers. So you will simply add these numbers, and whatever value you get will be your integer representation of this entire string. This technique is the same which is used in our decimal number system. In this case, I had shown you that if you have 3, 2, 4, then you can easily represent it like 10 to the power 2 into 3, 10 to the power 1 into 2, and 10 to the power 0 into 4. And what you need to do is you need to simply add them. And after adding them, the number will come out to be 324. This is the same technique which we are applying in order to convert a string to integer. Now after converting this string to integer, we can use this integer as the key in our hash map. So if you have a string ABC, then this is the formula which we will be using, and it will be converting the string into an integer. Now if you have a larger string, then this formula will cause an overflow. Let us say you have a string of size 100. Then if you use this formula, then you will basically be using, let's say, 26 to the power 99 for this most significant digit. So it will cause overflow. Now in order to avoid overflow, that is in order to wrap around your table size, you will have to take a mod value. In this case, we can take a mod of 10 to the power 9 plus 7. But it all depends on your table size, okay, and also on your hash function. Now take a mod with the large prime number. Let us assume that we had these 4 strings and we have converted it to its hash value. So ABC is having hash value X. This string is having hash value Y, hash value Z, and hash value X. Now once you have found all the hash values, then you can simply use a hash map, and you can use these converted hash values as the key, and this is the list which will be storing the list of strings which are having this hash value. So hash value X is representing this ABC and also this string having length equals to 100. So these two will be stored in this list, okay. Now this second string is having hash value Y, and this third string is having hash value as Z, okay. So this is the way you represent a hash map. Now collision occurs when hash value is a multiple of your mod value. Let's say you are using a very simple hash function by using just mod of prime. Then in this case, if your calculated hash value is, let's say, 25, and if you are taking mod with a prime number, let's say it's 5, then it will give you a value 0. Now if your hash value is 15 and you are taking mod with 5, then this will also give you 0, and this will also give you 0. Now the hash value calculated is different for these 3 cases, but the prime number is actually a factor of your hash value. So all these will be pointing to the same bucket. Therefore we can have collision in case of hash map. Now you should try to use a larger prime number as well as a very good hash function. A prime number will minimize the number of collisions. If you do not take a prime number, then number of collisions can increase. And if you have a better hash function, then 2 different strings, let's say S1 and S2, will have very less chance of pointing to a single integer value X, okay. So this is the reason why we want to use a better hash function. Now the prime number in simple mod function should always point within limits, that is within the table size limits. Otherwise you will get some memory error. This hash function is basically used in the Rabin-Karp algorithm. I will put the link in the description below, you can check it out, and also in the rolling hash. Now the time complexity of using this hashing technique is, first you need to build your map. So the time will be number of words in your corpus into length of each word in your corpus. So first you will take the corpus, that is your dictionary, and then you will build your entire map. After building your map, you will be searching for your queries. So there will be q number of queries. So what will be the time? It will be equals to number of queries, and for each query the time taken will be the length of word multiplied by the size of collision list. So in your map, this is basically a collision list. In this case, this is storing 2 strings since they are pointing to the same key value. This is the same hash value. Therefore, we should use a better hash function. With good hash function, the collision list can be minimized in size, okay. So this is the technique of hashing. Now a better technique is by using try. In this case, you are given a dictionary of words, and then you will insert this entire dictionary into your try first. If you have any confusion in try, then I have already made videos on basics of try. I will put the link in the description below, you can check them out. Now after inserting all the words in the dictionary in this try, we can use this searching technique. Now we want to, let's say, search for tech. So we will start from this root. This is our root, and from here you can see that T is present, again E is present, C is present, H is present. Now our word has ended. In this case, at h, you have ends value greater than 0. This ends value at a given node will indicate the number of words ending at this current node. In this case, ends value equals to 1 indicates that there is one word which is ending at this node starting from root. So tech is present and this is present only once in your corpus. So ends value will be 1. And ends value 1 indicates that this word is present. Therefore, you will return true in this case. Now let's search for TEM. You start again from root. T is present, E is present, but from E, M is not present. Therefore, you will return false here. Let's search for techie. Again, you will start from this root. You will go to T, E, C, H, I, E. Now, your entire word has now been searched, and in this case, when you stop at E, your ends value is greater than 0. This indicates that there is a word present from the root ending at this current node. Therefore, you will just be returning true. This is a very simple approach using try, and this is the most efficient of all these three techniques which we have discussed. Now the time complexity will be, first you need to build your try. Now for building the try, you will have to parse through all the words in the dictionary and then you will have to insert it into your try. After building your try, you will be serving q number of search queries in your try. So the time complexity for each search query will be the size of your query, that is the size of your queried word, because you will basically be starting from this root and you will be making decisions for each and every character in a word. So the time taken for each word will be equals to length of word, and that will be multiplied with number of queries. So you can see that this is by far the best method. I hope you understood both the techniques. If you have any type of doubt, then feel free to comment below and I'll try to help you as soon as possible. Like and share our video and subscribe to our channel in order to watch more of this programming videos. See you in our next video. Thank you.